Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at a doe, an unidentified person. They're not sure if it's a Jane Doe or a John Doe that was found in Pahrump, Nevada, April 28th, 2018, along with some missing persons. Okay, and it says they're not sure if it's male or female. They're not certain of the race. They cannot determine the age group, the height, or the weight of the person. Okay, and it's in Nye County. Human remains were found on 4/28/2018. They did not list any GPS coordinates. They did not say, oh, they were found near, sometimes often they'll say something like they were found near the 2000 block of such and such, or they'll give you the area where the human remains were found, and they don't even put that in, which I find surprising, but it's Nevada. Not recognizable, partial skeleton parts only, unknown hair color, unknown eye color, and the clothing and accessories are not mentioned. It doesn't say if there was any clothing or accessories found near or around the body or the skeletal remains, but that doesn't mean there weren't any found, because I've found in Nevada often they just don't enter that information for some reason. So now we're going to look at some missing persons that went missing before April 28, 2018, because there's also no estimated year of death, and it doesn't say cannot estimate, so we have no idea how long the remains were there. So the first one, and I'm just picking some because this could be anybody. So I'm trying to find people that went missing, if I can, in Nye County, Nevada, instead of just looking at the whole state of Nevada or California or nearby states that could have driven somebody there. So the first one I ran across is Maureen Erin Fields. I'm not sure if this is the first one I ran across or the one that interests me more, and I thought, I wonder if this could be her, right? She went missing February 15th, 2006. What is it with Nevada and around Valentine's Day that people go missing? Is this happen in other states? But there's something around Valentine's Day that seems to happen a lot. 41 years old at the time, 5'5" to 5'6". She weighed 140 to 160 pounds. She never showed up for work February 15, 2006. Shortly after her disappearance, the Nye County Sheriff's Office did locate her abandoned vehicle in the desert outside of Pahrump across the California state line. Brown hair, blue eyes. She had a green 2004 Hyundai Unknown. Okay. And here's a picture of her and her doggy. And this is the other image that is there right here. It says PDF. And this says there was a DNA hit links California inmate to missing Pahrump woman. And we'll get to that. Okay, the Charlie Project, I want you to see this. Here's some photos of two men. And here's photos of her, missing since February 15th. Says she had 2 foot operations prior to her disappearance and was experiencing chronic pain as a result. She has arthritis and joint problems and has had multiple surgeries. She was planning to get tested to determine whether she was suffering from breast cancer. Caucasian female, brown hair, blue eyes. Her maiden name is Fitzgerald. She has a titanium surgical implant with a unique serial number in her jaw. Maureen's husband of 15 years, Paul Fields, Let me get rid of this. Says he last saw her at 8 a.m. on February 15, 2006. And I don't know if I believe him. At their home in Pahrump, Nevada. The couple had an argument just before Maureen left for her job. Now, that doesn't mean that's what happened. That's what he says. At the Pahrump Valley branch of Wells Fargo Bank, where she had worked as a teller for the past 3 months. I feel like when she left work on Valentine's Day, that from that time that she got home from work until that next morning, that anything could have happened. Maureen didn't arrive at work by 8:30 as scheduled, and after waiting 20 minutes, her coworkers called her husband, Paul. He said he thought she had left for work. He didn't tell them she had left for work. He said he thought she had left for work. After getting off the phone, he went directly to the police station. Paul later claimed he attempted to report Maureen as a missing person at this time, but that the police would not accept a report because she hadn't been gone for 24 hours. The police said, however, that wasn't true at all, that when Paul visited the station, the only thing he didn't say anything about her being missing. Nothing about a missing person, and he only asked if there had been any accidents involving a green Hyundai. So he only asked if there had been any accidents involving a car similar to hers, but he never tried to report her missing, even though he claimed he had, and this is what the police said. A photo of Paul is posted with this case summary, and this is after he said he thought she'd left for work. But he had told them that they had had an argument before she left, so you think he would know. So I don't know. I feel like after she got off work the day before, that something happened. On February 16th, Maureen's green 2004 Hyundai was found in Enoch County, California, about 12 miles from the Nevada state line. It had been stuck in the sand in a desert area about 125 feet off the road. In California, over the state line. That sounds kind of like somebody did that on purpose to get her vehicle not only in a different county, but in a different state. Her keys were in the ignition. So whoever put her car there, they were done with it. They didn't even bother to take the keys with them. The driver's seat was fully reclined, and slippers and eyeglasses were under the gas pedal. Who's going to put eyeglasses under a gas pedal and slippers? Some religious pamphlets were found out next to her purse. Where did they get the religious pamphlets from? Which contained her credit cards and her wallet. A knotted pair of pantyhose was also present. A knotted pair of pantyhose. That sounds like they may have strangled somebody with the pantyhose. Right? I don't know for sure, though. What did they do? What did somebody do with a knotted pair of pantyhose? As were bottles of prescription painkillers and tranquilizers, at least one of them empty. Now, were they empty before they got there, or did somebody force her to swallow them? I wonder. I don't know what they did to her, but on the ground nearby was a blanket, and the blanket was stained with a small amount of blood and vomit. So, whose blood was it? Whose vomit was it? Was the blood and the vomit, did they belong to the same person? And did that have to do with the prescription pills or the knotted pantyhose or anything? Of course, it has something to do with it, but we don't know what happened. There was no sign of Maureen at the scene. Authorities initially believed that she wandered off into the desert and committed suicide. Why would they think that? Is that what they saw? Religious pamphlets scattered about? That's what you're going to think? An extensive search of the area turned up no sign of her, however, and no suicide note was recovered. DNA from an unidentified male was subsequently discovered on items at the site of the abandoned car. I wonder if that was from the blood or the vomit or something else. Investigators stated they believed the scene had been staged by whoever was responsible for her disappearance. That sounds more like it. Authorities believe foul play was involved in Maureen's case, and for years they focused on Paul as their prime and only suspect. Maureen's family claims the marriage was very troubled and that she wanted a divorce. One of Maureen's friends described Paul as jealous, domineering husband and stated Maureen was afraid he would kill her. She told many people, she was afraid of Paul, her husband, but she denied any physical abuse. The day before her disappearance, Valentine's Day, she was extremely upset the day before at work, and she told her coworkers something's going to happen. So he had said something or done something to make her so upset that she was telling people that something's going to happen. So she knew something was about to happen to her from something her husband had said or done. That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm just speculating from what I'm reading. I don't even know if what I'm reading is true or where they got the information, but this is what it leads you to believe. Paul says, of course, that he's innocent in his wife's disappearance. He stated that just before she left the house that day, she vanished. Maureen said, I might as well do it now. Why wait? And I don't believe him. I don't believe him. She had said that something's going to happen. So he's already probably thought of words to say. That would be what I was speculating. And I still feel like he said he thought she left for work. Makes me think that since the day before she was afraid on Valentine's Day that something was going to happen. I wonder if he served her a meal and put those pills or something in it, in her meal or something. And when she got home from work to surprise her for Valentine's Day, and then tried to make it look like she had taken them or something. I don't know. He also claimed Maureen had been draining thousands of dollars from their joint accounts prior to her disappearance. I don't believe that either. She's going to work. He claimed she had been draining thousands of dollars from their joint accounts prior to her disappearance, and he believed she had a gambling problem, as well as a problem with prescription drugs. Gambling and prescription drugs. But she can keep a job. You can't keep a job if you have a problem with prescription drugs. And I don't believe him. She normally handled the couple's finances. I don't believe him because she's already afraid of him. But after Paul found out about the missing money, he told her he was going to start checking their bank and credit card statements from now on. Paul said Maureen took $7,000 cash advances off their credit cards prior to her disappearance and withdrew $2,000 from their joint bank account. He theorized she staged a suicide and ran away rather than face up to what she had done. He also said he had evidence that Maureen had asked a third party. He also said that he had evidence that she had asked a third party to kill him prior to her disappearance. That she had asked a third party to kill him an allegation that the police do not believe. So now I wonder, when I read that, if he doesn't have a second party involved, if he wasn't the only person involved, because he said that she had asked a third party to kill him. So now I feel like I wonder if he had not had somebody else involved with him. So, because she thought something was about to happen. So police check into the couple's finances after Maureen disappeared and said Paul's statements were inaccurate and his wife had only took out one $4,000 cash advance off a credit card. She used the money to pay off another card. And who had used that card and what had they done with it? And was it her or him? Paul allowed the police to search his house and property several times. He initially consented to a polygraph, but then he never took it. He later reneged on the advice, he said, of his attorney. He has stopped cooperating with the police in Maureen's disappearance. After waiting the required 90-day period. So what he was required to wait, as soon as he was done with that 90-day period, following her disappearance, he went to court to get her name taken off their jointly owned land, claiming abandonment. So he didn't even wait any more time than he needed to try to do that. In an effort to keep Paul from getting her assets, Maureen's father attempted to become her legal guardian. In response, Paul dropped his claims that Maureen abandoned her property and changed her status to a missing person. While she was legally missing, he could not divorce her. He had her declared legally dead in 2009, and he waited. He waited. And then he was named executor of her estate. The investigation went in an entirely different direction in the fall of 2012, when DNA from another man was found on the knotted pantyhose left near Maureen's car. A photo of the person, Keith Wayne Holmes, is posted with this case summary. He was in his mid-70s at the time of Maureen's disappearance and a registered sex offender with 2 prior convictions for child molesting. So he was a child molester and he was interested in children. So how did he get involved in her case when she wasn't a child? He was arrested in June 2011 for trying to lure a 12-year-old girl into his car. At the time of his arrest, he lived in Pear Blossom, California, over 200 miles away from Pahrump. Investigators know he was in the Pahrump area in 2006, however. Holmes died in a prison hospice in April 2014. He claimed he had met Maureen and they had consensual sex, but we don't believe that either, and he left her alive in Death Valley. I don't believe that either. He also stated that he knew her husband, Paul, but he didn't provide any further information about her disappearance. But he did say that he knew her husband, Paul. So I have all sorts of questions. He was questioned repeatedly by the police in his final days, but he had dementia and he was often not lucid. Authorities stated finding Holmes' DNA didn't rule out her husband as a suspect. Maureen graduated North Arlington High School in New Jersey in 1983. Her loved ones stated she was very particular about her appearance. She had a cosmetic nose surgery and liposuction. She never wore jeans or t-shirts in public, and she never left the house without makeup. Maureen left behind her eyeglasses, because they were under the gas pedal, contact lenses, prescription medication, shoes, and her cherished pet pit bull dog. Her loved ones don't believe she would have left of her own accord, especially without her pet. Her case remains unsolved. So now I have questions. Did these two men both know each other? Her husband and that other man that was interested in 12-year-old girls? Did they know each other? And I wonder what happened, because she felt like something was going to happen. What happened after she left work on Valentine's Day? What happened after she got home? When did she actually go missing? Did she go missing on Valentine's Day? Or did she go missing that morning? The whole thing troubles me. I don't feel like a child molester is going to target women, especially only one woman and not others, and not have, like, you know, find other women, find the same evidence with other women and just one woman. The whole thing troubles me, but it's just speculation, because that's what we do. We read this and then we speculate. What do we think happened? And we don't know for sure. All we do know is that please pray for her family and her loved ones. What such a horrific thing. And the people that knew her, it's just terrible, right? Okay, who else do we have that's missing? We have Armando Cardenas. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right. He went missing July 8, 2006, 74 years old, from Pahrump, Nevada. He was scheduled to travel to California to see his family, but never arrived. He was last heard from July 28th when he talked to his daughter in California via phone. His vehicle was later recovered in Baja California, October 30th, 2006. So I don't think that those remains would be his, even though he's missing from Pahrump, Nevada, because it sounds like he may have left Pahrump to travel to California. I mean, it could be his, but I would think that possibly he had actually left to go to California and something happened. Maybe. Gray or partially gray hair, brown eyes. Then we have Enoch Roy Kimmel Jr., July 21st, 1989, 36 years old, nicknamed Tony. Last seen at his home, went missing from his home. Black hair, brown eyes. No, transportation's not mentioned, his clothing isn't mentioned. It's not a lot of information about what happened or how he went missing. Was there not I don't know why I don't have more information on this. Usually but this is all I see. Just that he went missing from his home. And nothing else. And you think somebody out there has more information about what happened to this man. And if you have more information about where he was, what happened to him, I know 1989 is a long time ago, please contact authorities and let them know. Even if you heard it through family members, loved ones, people drinking and talking, you're not sure if it's true, it's just hearsay. It's not like you're testifying in court. Please let authorities know any information that you have. And if you want to make sure that they get it and they write it down, you can email them. You can email like a detective and a police officer, as well as somebody from the sheriff's department, and CC all of them. Or you can write letters and send them out to make sure they have that information. We have missing Donald Allen Warren, January 1st, 1980, from Pahrump, Nevada. He was 51 years old, 5'4" to 5'5". He was last seen in 1980 at a casino in California or Nevada. Research by family later traced him to Pahrump, Nevada, which was linked through a Nevada driver's license issued to him. He has not been seen or heard from since. Brown hair, hazel eyes. Here's the Charlie Project on him. He may use the last name Payntner, Payntr. He had gotten a driver's license in Pahrump. So, Carl Steven Sanders went missing July 7, 2002, but that's in Big Smoky Valley, Nevada. And even though it's the same county, I don't think that would be him. Him and his wife were sightseeing in the Smoky Valley east of State Highway 376. The couple ran out of gas and attempted to hike to the main road. Unless the area where the remains were found coincides from where he went missing, which is possible. And you can pause this and read that. I'm not reading all of that. Brown hair, hazel eyes. Clothing possibly nude, gold wedding band worn on left hand. I have the Charlie Project for him. So he's been missing since July 7, 2002. This is Lander County, Nevada. 48 years old, 6'3", 230 pounds. He was last seen in the Big Smoky Valley of Lander County, Nevada, July 7th. Him and his wife, Deborah Jean Sanders, they were sightseeing. They ran out of gas on a Forest Service road. The temperatures were reaching 125 degrees. They had no water. They had no other provisions. And they decided to try to walk to the main road for assistance. She was found in a delirious state by a motorist 2 days later and airlifted to the medical center in Reno, Nevada for treatment. She was suffering from dehydration, severe sunburn, and with critical condition. Carl was not with her. He's never been heard from again. She told authorities that they became lost and walked back and forth for 3 or 4 miles before separating. Searchers found Carl's shirt, cut-off shorts, and one of his sandals. It is common for individuals suffering from heat stroke to take off their clothes. He is believed to still be wearing his wedding band, however. The police are assisting in the investigation, and Carl and Deborah lived in Fairfield, California in 2002. So, oh yeah, and we wanted to read this DNA hit from Maureen Erin Fields. An 81-year-old convicted sex offender in California jail has been linked through DNA evidence 2012 to Pahrump cold case involving a woman who disappeared more than 6 years ago and is presumed dead. Pahrump resident Maureen Fields vanished in February 2006. Her vehicle was found a short time later in California containing DNA traces of an unknown male. Nye County Sheriff's Office detectives said earlier this year the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's forensic lab identified the DNA as that of Keith Holmes, a registered sex offender from Pear Blossom, California. Holmes was arrested in June by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's after authorities said he tried to lure a 12-year-old girl into his car near Palmdale, California. Nye County detectives are looking for any information of Holmes, who began traveling to Pahrump in 2006, most likely in a 1965 Ford camper. Anyone with information was asked to call Nye County detectives, and so please contact them if you have any information. And I do not feel that even though that man is linked to her death, I don't feel like that makes her husband an innocent man. And that's just my speculation. It doesn't mean that, that's true or accurate information. It's just after reading the information that whoever put this online makes me feel like, she thought he was going to do something. And so that maybe he did something, and all the things that I read makes me very suspicious, right? Which I'm sure that's why that it was written that way. And I'm not sure where they got the information from, but anyway. So feel free to leave comments and let me know what your thoughts and your feelings are on this. And don't forget to contact authorities if you have any information about any of these cases whatsoever. Don't forget to pray for these families and these loved ones and their loved ones. That is so horrific. And imagine if her husband was innocent and he hadn't done anything, and here we are suspecting him. But I don't know, because the way they worded it doesn't make him sound like he could be innocent. It makes you feel like something must have happened, because it seems like what she said made it sound like she knew something was going to happen. And I don't know how she would know that. Anyway, so feel free to leave comments, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.